Oh, so about a few minutes ago, I put up a poll, and even though it was kind of split down the middle between choosing to talk about working with specific beings, like divine beings, and working with spirits, and about the planets. Oops, wrong button. So it was a tie between working with certain beings and you know the planets. Too bright. Astrology and whatnot. So I decided I was just gonna keep it simple and just stick with the planets in astrology and go over all of them again from hello Fiona and quiet. And I'm gonna be going from Surya, the sun, all the way to Black Moon Lilith. I'm not going to be going into the asteroids because I have not practiced with them. I know, right? And I don't have a lot of experience with the asteroids, so I don't got much with that. But so in the order, it'll go Surya, Sun, Chandra, Moon, Pluto, Mercury, Venus, Shukracharya, Mongol, Mars, Jupiter, Barispati, Shanideva for Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and then last but not least, we'll cover the shadow grahas or shadow planets, Rahu, Ketu, and Black Moon Lilith at the very end. Yeah, I know, I was saving the best for last. So every day, expect me to be coming live and talking about these magnificent celestial bodies. And finally, I figured out how to actually make a link tree. It's down below, and I'm in the process of actually trying to raise. I think nice. I like when people quote on historical figures like that. Preserves history, but anyway. But down in the description box below, hopefully if it did it, there should be a link tree link. That sounds so weird saying that. And I'm actually trying to raise funds to be able to actually start getting my Oracle deck in production. Yeah, in order for me to actually doing a test of how the deck is supposed to be, how I want it, it's kind of pricey, so a little bit will help get this project up and off the ground. And I've also tried to reach out to a publisher, so I'm waiting on that, but we'll see what happens there. But anyway, back to Surya. So I guess we'll just start off with asking a simple question. Is the sun a graha, a star, or a planet? Well, I mean, that's the thing though, because my deck is not out yet, because in order for me to actually put out to the public, I have to have a test print. And the way that I want it printed, having a, like, you know, here, as an example, in order to have a deck like this, which I have to thank my friend Gary for sending me it. In order to get a deck like this, like custom box and all, a deck like this, a specific box like this, even though my deck's not a tarot size, it's only 44 cards. To get this, and also the edging, because the limited exclusive edition is going to be the first one to come out. I need to have a test print. And because, you know, modern day stupidity of people that don't know how to pay for services in personal life, I'm kind of a little bit stuck. But anyway, I'll write that out later. So, as I was saying, Surya, the sun, is it a planet, a graha, star, and is it the largest one? when we're talking planet, is it the largest planet? And before somebody comes and say, well, it's a star. Well, no shit. We all know that. But in terms of like a planet, is it the largest one? And planet and Graha are not the same. If you were to say that Sun is the largest planet, it's Jupiter. And now if you say the Sun is the largest Graha, that's correct. There's a difference. There is a big difference. A planet is actually a physical body that you can, land on, or it has like a specific structure to it. You can't land on the Sun. Well, then again, you can't land on Venus because you really can't land on any other planet by technicality. But the Sun. But anyway, and a Graha is actually an incarnation of Vishnu, and the Sun is this at the center, representing the soul. And Sun is also known as the king. And what do we know about the king? He's the one in charge. He's the one that is in rulership. His word is law. So, yeah. For me, I just don't like that, to be honest, but I'm more of a Saturday person anyway. So, it takes about, for the Sun, in order to go through all 12 of the signs, it takes, of course, approximately 365 days, and there is a calculation that actually has it say 360 days, but that's a Dasha calculation, which is something only for Vedic astrology. It's a planetary time period. And to go per sign, it's approx 30 to 31 days. And Sun can never be retrograde. You're never going to see the Sun get drunk and go backwards. The King's never going to get drunk and go backwards. If that was to happen, we would have a bit of a concern. But then again, we wouldn't have anything because we'd be burnt alive. And the quality about the Sun too, the inner planets, Buddha, Mercury, and Venus Shrivacharya, they can never go past 90 degrees from the Sun. They're always within 90 degrees, always within that 90-degree boundary. And Surya's and I'm looking at my notes. And Sun essentially is the part of you that you cannot physically touch, because this is the ascendant. Mind is the thought process, and Surya is the one where all the other grahas came from. So like we're talking like all of them. So you can kind of say like Sun can be like, that's so bad. Sounds like Big Daddy. I said I'd go with it. And now because since Sun is the most hot, Sun is a mild, cruel planet, or graha. You're probably thinking, cruel? Don't you mean malefic? Yeah. But in the Sanskrit word actually makes it translate to cruel. Cruel, like, oh, that's so cruel of you. And then the ones as a benefic are actually translated to cruel, and then the other one is gentle. Sun, Surya, is a mild, cruel planet. Well, let's say if you have Surya, Sun, and then here comes Saturn. When Saturn gets too close, he's really going to get like, oh God, not this flamer, no! And Sun's the only planet that can combust other planets. And because of the sun, that's why our soul incarnates on this rock. And the point being is to pay back the karmic due that needs to be paid back. And the sun is actually the one that brings the soul down here to punish it. And to pay off the bad deeds through all the struggles of the world, hunger, depression, happiness, loss, gain, and just suffering. And Surya is also of course, obviously, light. And some representations of Surya, like some adjectives or special words you can associate with him, first is Deva, which is divine, pure. Yep, sun is pure. Light, obviously. Divine. I think I just let me put that in place. Let me fix that. Some driving bonkers. Sun is the soul, like the inner flame within. The fatherly figures is the one who has control. It is the mild cruel. It's a purification. It's a healer. But again, Surya or sun can be both a healer and a destroyer. Like Apollo. There's Apollo, Ra. If you want to be technical, even Dawn. In order to have, Dawn, a daughter of Nyx, you kind of need to have the sun. So Dawn, sun, is also soul from, I believe, the Norse pantheon, Balder, Amaterasu, Bingadoo, and sun is also egotistical and vain, but is also self-confidence. It is one that is actually also inner inspiration. It is also noted that there are some people that have excelled in meditative practice that they don't even consume anything off the planet. They don't eat anything, they don't drink anything, no. All they do is they get their nourishment and sustenance from the sunlight. And if you've seen like a depiction of Surya where it has the divine figure and then it has the charioteer holding the 7 horses and then has a whip to like kind of guide them. In that depiction, Vishnu is the one behind, sun is the one that's the charioteer, and each of those horses is a chakra. Seven ponies, each is a chakra. And Surya has full dominion over the grahas, which is essentially the 12 zodiac signs. He has dominion over them. What about Moon? Does Moon have any dominion over any of them? She has dominion over all the nakshatras. And of course, the Motrikona of Surya is Simba, which is Leo. Yeah, I know. If you've seen Lion King, you're thinking, Simba. Yes, Simba. Like the Lion King, Simba. That's Leo. Mind blown, I know. And the sign of Leo being essentially where the time of the year would be, I believe. Because also I'm keeping in mind that this is in with Vedic calculations, not Western. They believe it'll be June. So in June, that's where Sun is at its highest. It's most comfortable. Motrikona is Leo, where he gets Digbala, directional strength, is the 10th house, which you probably think is so Capricorn should be good, right? That's an enemy sign then. But if you were to put, but now this is where I kind of use my own deductive reasoning and think, something's coincidental with this. You know, like there are some depictions of some saints, some religious figures, or some canonized people that actually have, or even some divine figures, like even Shani has one. There's the sun behind their head. The head right here, this is the lugna. You're putting the sun behind it, or on it, which is actually a symbol of enlightenment. So you can also kind of say that the sun also bestows enlightenment if it's in the lugna. And originally, the lugna is where Aries is. And Surya has the most is at its highest state in Aries. Because you're giving the king the energy to be a go-and-getter. Get up and go get it. When the king says give it, and goes after it, well, he gets it. Whereas Surya gets pissed off, upset, not having it, is in Libra. Kind of self-explanatory. You're taking a king, now you're putting him in the marketplace with people that are bartering in order to trade. And so now the king is like, I want that. Why did you slap my hand, peasant? You had to pay for it, dude. What do you mean I have to pay? I'm the king. No. I need money, please. I'm the king. Give it to me. No. So the king gets frustrated because the merchant keeps slapping his hand when he's trying to take what he wants. So unfortunately, the king has to come off of his his high point of Aries, down to his low. It's not good or bad, it is what it is. Where Sun is lost is in the 4th, the home. Because the Sun wants to be out in the public and everybody looking up at him. When Sun is in the home, away from public eye, he feels by himself. He feels like I'm not in my kingdom. But technically he is, but he's not out in his kingdom of the collective. If that makes sense. Within the home, that's where Venus and Moon get directional strength, and they feel like they know exactly where to go. Sun is lost at the 4th. I mean, you could also even say in the 7th too, somewhat. But and he also has dominion over the direction east. The sun rises from the east. And some other little pointers. The sun is masculine as probably as you can get. But now keep in mind there are some handed down beliefs or practices where you can actually see, like in Japanese mythology, about Amaterasu being a sun goddess. That's one of the exceptions. But then again, when you have the divine masculine, it's more of Surya. When you have the divine feminine, it's more of Chandra and Moon. But by technicality, with the case of Amaterasu, she's actually both. Same thing with her brother Tsunoki. Moon god, masculine, male, it's both. It's interesting though. Sun is a mild, cruel planet. Well, when you have father telling you, okay kid, you gotta go down and suffer. But why? Go. Okay. And he can heal at a distance, but when he gets too close, get melted. And some other keywords for the sun, think of soul, like the inner within that you can't touch, but you can just feel. And when you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, inwardly you feel this warmth. That's Surya, that's the sun. Sun is also, the king, the one who gives the orders, the one that is in control, the one who's do it. Vitality, health. That's right. That is correct. Sun is also the confidence of the self. It can somewhat be one's profession, but it's their dharmic thing to do. The metal that can be associated with it now, most of the time it's gold, but copper can be used as a substitute, like as an alternative. And I'm talking metal, not stones or crystals. Some ideas of a profession, but now keep in mind, being a king is not a profession, because, well, you're not really getting paid to go be a ruler. And some other modern day professions, think of it like a government position, like an authoritative government position. Well, no, senator, state senator. If you're at the highest state level of government, that's the sun. But when, like, say, if you're the president, that's the sun. If you're the vice president, that's the moon. That's Chandra. Prime Minister is another one. It's also regarding being like a teacher, education, banking, or essentially, you can even also say like IRS authoritative. Metal dealer, meaning that like you're selling certain metals, and also doing appraisal, performing arts, because, well, the Sun of Leo's like, hey, and that's what it is. CEO is also a manipulator. Yep, Surya is a manipulator. How is he a manipulator? We have the king saying, do it. That's manipulation. But it's intimidation, though. But it's like, he's manipulating you in a way that's intimidating. Goldsmiths, any kind of metalsmith, for that matter. And wherever the sun is placed, that's actually the reason why you're, again, here. And until you do where he's placed, you're stuck. So you have to burn all that off, and then you'll be ready to go for your next spike down here. When it comes to the specific stone for Surya, now this is where you can have many alternatives. You don't have to just have this one be-all. Of course, obviously, according to the Vedic text, because I have to go with that first, it is noted to be ruby. I'm probably thinking, wouldn't that be something like Mars? I thought so too, but I mean that's just what the text is. What the texts say, and if you look, you can actually kind of actually see like a little bit of hue of orange in it. But yes, this would be the associated stone with Surya. And the longer I hold this thing, the more hot my fingers feel, and I do not like that. Too hot. Some alternatives. Obviously, sunstone. That's a given. Another one. Tiger's eye. Well, I think that's a bit self-explanatory. Another one. I'm gonna drop it. Rutilated quartz. You're probably thinking, yep, there's a gold. And this thing has a bit of a zzz to it. And as well, don't jump out of my hand, it must give me a heart attack. Citrine. This is a honker piece though, but still, citrine's another one. You could also say orange jade, yellow jade, sunset selenite, something like that. It's a yellow selenite, I know that. Yellow jade, I think I said yellow jade. Lemon jade, I think those are just essentially the same jade. Pretty much yellow or golden stones. Again, the metal stone, the metal gold, yeesh. As well as there's another stone that is actually a combination of the sun and the moon. I can't remember the name for it to save my life, but that's another one. Let's see. And sun, essentially, when sun kind of it's known as like when it matures, when it actually becomes more dignified, in the best way to put it, the best way that I can put it, is at the age of 22. So at the age of 22, inwardly you feel, well, I feel like I'm in control of myself now and I'm able to do what I need to do. And I'm in control. Associated plants, the red lotus. You could even also say, of course, obviously the sunflower. Also any kind of fire deity too, like Agni, Pele. Although it is goddess, but still, Pele counts. Loosely, Loki, loosely. And before somebody says, no, not all the Inferno. No, not all the Inferno. King Paimon is a Surya related one. Any of the kings, any of them that hold the king title, that's Surya. Or those with Saturnus and Lucifer. Lucifer is not a Surya though. He's Venus ruled. Or associated. So let's see here. I guess now I'll just go through like the sun through each sign and house real quick. Nothing too over extravagant. So I'll just start with the signs. Sun in Aries, exaltation point. Essentially you have one's sense of self and their reasoning to come on earth is to actually take action and be the one to lead the charge or take initiative to have authoritative change or make a strong impact or pretty much come back here to do things for themselves, to make them be the one who says, I am this is me, I'm doing this. The self is prioritized and the self is the identity, which is kind of obvious for that one. Sun in Taurus. Now, Sun does not like being in Taurus because he's in the sign of his enemy, Venus, despite being also one of his gurus. Venus says, Sun, why do you have to make everybody suffer? What's wrong with you, dude? Well, you're in Taurus? Okay, hon, this is how you're going to be in Taurus. You're actually going to be having your sense of fulfillment come in with enjoying life here. Luxury, wealth, indulgences, and cheesy boozy boo stuff, but I want to suffer. I need to pay back my stuff. Nope, you're going to enjoy right here in Taurus, so he does not like Taurus that much. Sun in Gemini. Friendly. In Gemini, the feeling of connecting and exchanging ideas, or being able to market, or just be able to communicate in general and connect to another individual, that brings the most fulfillment for a Sun in Gemini. Yeah. Moon's going to be tomorrow. I'm going through every single planet up until Black Moon Lilith, from starting today all the way till we get to Black Moon Lilith, the last day of that. So every day from starting today, each planet I'm going to be going into for a long time. Yeah. So Sun in Cancer. Wait, yeah, Sun. I did Sun in Gemini. Yeah, Sun in Cancer. Now, this is a kind of a backwards placement because you're having one luminary in the other luminary spot. So mother figure is actually kind of like the authoritative fatherly figure in a way. Well, when we get to the moon tomorrow, there's a lot more than the sun. The moon will be getting a lot more attention because she's so specific. She has a lot of specifics about her. But Sun in Cancer, you can actually see somebody's sense of fulfillment and their identity and their sense of self-worth, self-image comes from being able to caretake and raise something. They feel the most fulfilled by caretaking or making something be nurtured. And it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a plant. It could be even like nurturing and raising a project. raising a group of people, raising a family, raising a home, building a home, pretty much having authority in the native country, because Cancer is the native homeland. That counts. Sun in Leo. Well, I think this one's kind of a given. You're taking the king, and now you're putting him on the king's throne. Where he's like, hey, notice me, everybody, I'm the king, woo! And everybody goes, woo! So really the sun feels most comfortable here. And the sun also is one that likes to express himself creatively, but also get his round of, woo, the sun. I'd be more enthused, but I'm sorry, I'm more Saturnian, like, I don't care! Stupid flamer. But Sun and Leo, they get the most fulfilled by doing playwrights, speculative games, having just fun, and also raising children and being a figure to look up to from the children's point of view. They want to be an example that others look up to. Sun in Virgo. Again, it's a friendly sign, but here, the sense of fulfillment and they feel the most fulfilled is when they actually go and they purify anything that is tainted. They also feel the most fulfilled being of service. They also, if they do any kind of medical work or any kind of cleansing, healing work, doctoral work, or medicinal work, it also brings fulfillment. If they're able to also, well, again, also the sign of Virgo is the maiden who's pure. And since the sun is a mild malefic, it does have that understanding of, okay, I know I can heal, but I can also destroy. So if there's something like, say for example, the sign of Virgo is also the sign of disputes and people in the courtroom, like a lawyer or a prosecutor. So you can even also say that somebody gets their sense of fulfillment by pretty much becoming like a, well, the best way I can put it is like a bloodthirsty shark ankle biter to nitpick something and to perfect something at every little thing. So potentially it could lead to somebody being overcritical, but within they feel the most fulfilled when they perfect something. It's not bad or good, it is what it is. Sun in Libra. Now this is where Sun gets pissed off. Because again, the Sun is being forced to negotiate and try and balance and be fair. The king thinks, my way or no way. Nope, you can't touch that. But why? I want it. Pay. But I don't want to pay. You don't get it then. Damn. Come on. I'm the king. You can't tell me no. No. So, somebody feels the most fulfilled and they feel that they are doing what they need to do by somebody else. It's not bad or good, it is what it is. They feel the most connected when they have another individual or they're negotiating or balancing with someone else. And it is what it is. It's not bad or good because, again, now this is also another sign of Venus where Sun is not having it. The Sun doesn't want to have any kind of negotiating relationships. He just wants what he wants. That's it. That's all he wants. Oh my God, really? I can't stand people when they don't know how to listen, they don't know how to follow instructions. Tell them to be quiet, and they don't know how to listen. Perfect. Meh. Anyway, Sun in Scorpio. Now, a lot of people think that, oh, Sun in Scorpio. Scorpio, oh gosh, too harsh, too mean, and they hurt. Oh, for bloody sakes, no. Sun in Scorpio, you can actually see somebody actually getting their sense of fulfillment by transforming people out of death. And the Sun in Scorpio also shows occult studies and occult practices also being a source of fulfillment. But since also Scorpio is the devotion that is like, you're not getting rid of me, I'm sticking with this. They get the most fulfilled by actually being able to commit and devote to something that is close to their heart. And when they get that back in return, oh, you have somebody who you ain't gonna lose. Trust me, you can put them through the worst of life, they will stay devoted and committed to you. But if something happens, you cross them wrong and you betray them, they will keep that inner flame of like, nope, you come near me, you get, stuck in the tush. Oh, Jesus Christ. who... I just... So inconsiderate, rude. Whatever. Sun in Sagittarius. Now this is another... This is another friendly sign of Sun. Because he's in the friend... Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. So, Sun in Sagittarius, like I said, it's a friendly sign. Because Sun sees Jupiter as a friend, because that's his closest and best advisor. In Sagittarius, one feels the most fulfilled by pursuing philosophical studies, being a teacher, a guide, one who's also one who goes on pilgrimages, goes long distance travel to meet other cultures, is also being fulfilled by actually interacting with guru figures, and as well as learning about enlightening topics, and also giving those to other people, and also leading by example with those ethics and morals. Sun in Capricorn. Now this, well, originally within the house placement system, Capricorn is where Sun is the highest point in the sky and gets directional strength, meaning the Sun sees perfectly clear where he needs to go and where to go. In Capricorn, though, he's not in the friendly sign. In fact, he's in the sign of his bitter enemy, Shani. The Sun in Capricorn. One gets a sense of fulfillment by pretty much being the one in control, the one who has strict rules, regulations, order, discipline, and is also a workaholic. This position of Surya likes to work, and the soul has to do some kind of service to society in some way, shape, or form. And because since this Capricorn also represents, believe it or not, funny enough, also represents the cemetery, where the dead are. Capricorn is where essentially one can actually be a historian too, and also their reputation can be seen as a figure that preserves and tries to maintain history. Sun in Aquarius, another sign of Shani where Surya and Sun is like, I don't like it here. I don't want to be going kumbaya with everybody. I want to be on my chair going kumbaya by myself. So the king in Aquarius, the sense of fulfillment comes by pretty much connecting others, but that's also, again, Aquarius is a very, very chaotic sign. It's all over the place. It goes because it's air that's going like, it's fixed air. It's air that's fixed, meaning that it's just going, it's stuck in like this urn and it's going all over the place in the urn because it has nowhere to go, so it's just all over the place. So one's sense of fulfillment is being innovative, and as well essentially trying to be advocating for the self's uniqueness and trying to lead others into being their unique self. But because since also the Sun being egotistical, this can actually show someone being extremely defiant and rebellious against the expectations of the norm, which conflicts. Sun in Pisces. Now this is another friendly sign to Surya because again he's with the sign of his best guru, Brihaspati, Jupiter. So here, you have somebody getting a sense of fulfillment by actually being able to intake perspectives and go from one perspective to another and to get a more in-depth understanding of things that are beyond this plane. So you can definitely see people who practice occult sciences have a strong connection to divine beings, spiritual beings, and actually can also be one who participates in a lot of spiritual devotional work. A lot of it. And since the Sun is also in the sign where it's intoxication, one may actually be getting more fulfilled when they are intoxicated. Now, when I say intoxicated, don't think drunk, don't think high. Don't think being on something. No, that's just like the low-level, stereotypical, oh no. No. Simply put, intoxication is when you intake something and now your perspective changes. So say, oh, the thirst is real, I need water. You're in a state of awareness that you're intoxicated by thirst. You drink water. You're intoxicated by not being thirsty anymore. You're intoxicated by the water. Your perspective changes from like, thirst! Okay, better. Rejuvenation. That's how your perspective changes. That's Pisces. So one finds fulfillment by intaking other perspectives and growing their understanding on a more deeper level. I know that one was a bit unexpected, but that's for Pisces. Then the houses. And after the houses go into the... we'll then go through each planet, which is a friendly enemy. I mean, can't speak soft, but still big. So sun in the Lagna. The sense of fulfillment and the sense of self is in the physical body or behind the head. So the recurring thought in somebody's head is they want to actually be noticed, they want to be appreciated, and their sense of fulfillment in their physical body may actually not be able to have, they may lose their hair earlier on in life. Their hair may be kind of a little bit fringed, a little bit dry as well, and they may actually, like their whole physical body may be a lot hotter than usually the normal temperature of 98.7. It may be a little bit higher if it's in the love one. Second house. Essentially, the face has a really bright quality to it. Their teeth might be challenging in regards to they may stain easily, but when they're actually taken care of and cared for, you can actually see these people having flawless white teeth. You can, has the potential. The eyes may have a bit of a reddish ruby tint to them too, and they may actually also have it if they're having any kind of jewelry like an earring. They actually may enjoy having like a yellow stone or a yellow sapphire, sunstone, ruby, any kind of solar related stone on the face of the piercing. That's potential. They may like a lot of hot food as an indulgence. Then in the third house now, the third house is phalanges, your fingers, your hands, arms, shoulders, and then also the ribcage, the lungs. This has also the breath and also the trachea in terms of what your vocabulary is. And going back to the second house too, the way that their voice sounds, it may sound a bit like a little bit, it has some oomph to it. But the third, so their skill set may actually have a lot of willpower behind it and a lot of energy to it. And the way that they move their hands, fast. Because again, the sun is light. You're putting it in here. I'm gonna just take these off so I don't, move so fast that I break them like it's happened before. So sun being light, you're putting it in the hands, so they move fast. Yeah, you didn't see that. It was just a slap, poke. Yeah, just like that. I know. Fast, but it's just like that fast. That fast. That's the speed of light. Fast, the sun. Speed of light and light, there's the hands. Light moves really fast. And you're putting it in the hands. Fast movement. But also, younger sibling may be somebody who's like, but I'm better than you. Kind of a bit egotistical and a bit kind of obnoxious, possibly. And they may try to make it also more about them. Neighbors could be a bit selfish too and a little bit authoritative and too nosy, pushy, egotistical. Short distance travel may actually also be rather illuminating, meaning that usually with short distance travel, a lot of more enlightening thoughts come in, and more understanding of the self is easier to obtain while just like commuting back and forth to everyday things like commuting to work, just going for a walk. Self-awareness tends to be enhanced in those activities. Sun in the fourth. Now, sun in the fourth, well, the sun's lost. I know I'm at home, but where are my people? What am I supposed to do at home? I want to be on my throne where the 10th house is. So, in the home, mother, again, because that's the original fourth house. So, the sun of the fourth, essentially, the mother is, this is her house. The mother is in control of the household. She says, you do. So, you can actually see the mother actually being both one that's a really enlightening figure, but she may also be one that is pretty high in expectations. And when she gives the command, you don't say no. Sun in Leo. Essentially the sense of, no wait, sun in the fifth. So the children actually will bring you a sense of fulfillment, and the activities that you enjoy doing are those that are actually creative and you want to be recognized for them. So for example, if you're doing the performing arts, if you're doing any kind of performance work, like stage work, like playwright, music artist, artistry at all, you getting recognized, that will bring you that fulfillment too. And since it's also speculative gain, you may enjoy also gaining in ways that are unexpected. So you could technically also say lottery winner in a way. Be like, hey, look at me, I won the lottery, notice me. Don't do that in the modern day, because you'll probably get a spear thrown at you and you'll get your money stolen. Sun in the sixth. Now, sun in the sixth, there you have the king giving you the sense of fulfillment by pretty much being of service to other people. You feel the most fulfilled by helping those that are deemed unprivileged. And by unprivileged, I'm not meaning like somebody who is like, I mean, if you want to be technical, no person is unprivileged because we're all given life. But in this case, so say if somebody is like homeless, you would be getting the most fulfillment by giving them some kind of warmth, some kind of help, and actually advocating on their behalf if they can do it. Like if they can't speak, you would feel the most fulfilled advocating for them. As well as you feel the most fulfilled by caretaking to small animals, pets, and those that pretty much those that you also have to be the one to stand up and push back against. So like being the voice of those who can't speak, like those who can't defend themselves, that also brings fulfillment. But since the sun is also it's also a planet that heals, you can also see medical professions come from this as well. Sun in Libra. Now, yeah, sun in the seventh house. Sun, pretty much the other people, you can see the potential in other people so easily, and you can actually uplift people with it. But the issue is, you're giving your sense of self to other. The reflection is getting your sense of self. It's not a bad thing. It actually shows that you're able to help people see the light within themselves, which is a good thing. But again, the sun doesn't want to be giving his light to anybody. He wants to keep it. So that's something to be aware of. And also one may be fulfilled by even doing like bartering and being considerate and weighing out all the options and making sure everybody gets their fair share. And also even the courthouse too. Negotiating contracts and whatnot. Sun in the 8th house. Sun is now in the 8th house. Again, the 8th house is also somewhat similar to Scorpio. Essentially, when it comes to moments of like sudden events or like surprise, we just got into a car accident, they feel the most. Like the sun in the 8th, you can actually see somebody having full awareness of the occult and the practices. The in-laws are actually a figure that they see, like they're able to see everything from. They get great advice from the in-laws. They feel the most fulfilled getting those insights from the in-laws. And they're wisdom too. But since also this 8th house is also the house that has a dominion over the law of probability, these people are actually really good at intimidating other people by saying, you know, there's a chance this might happen. There's a chance that'll happen. Because, well, it has a huge likelihood to happen. Listen to me. That's the king. Listen. Authoritative in the 8th. But also, one also feels fulfilled by trying to figure out where the secrets are, gets a hold of it, takes down and shows the whole world. So you can actually see somebody being like a miner for mining gems like kunzite, or even gems that aren't even discovered yet, or even also doing detective work and spy work for like FBI, for an example. The 9th house, that's the house of guru, teachers, philosophy, similar to Sagittarius. One feels the most fulfilled when they're actually with a guru figure, and they're able to learn from a guru figure, and interact with numerous philosophical viewpoints of life throughout the whole world. When they can do that, and go on long pilgrimages to interact with other cultures, they feel the most fulfilled, which is a beautiful thing. Son of the 10th. They feel the most fulfilled by their reputation and how everybody looks up to them. That one's simple, because Sun, the king, is where everybody can see him. And everybody's going, yay, the king, whoa! That was kind of self-explanatory. Sun in the 11th. Now this one's a trick house. This one tricks you if you're not careful. It's also the ankles too. So, and the shins. So, Sun in the 11th. You can actually see that your friends can be somewhat egotistical. The acquaintances you interact with, the network circle, may be a bit authoritative and pushy on you, potentially, or it could be vice versa. You may be trying to take control of a group of people, which may not be the best idea. It's like you have to be elected to be that, and the king's not really elected, it's inherited sometimes. But for the gains, you can gain a lot. But at the same time, if you're not careful, you can burn all your gains up if you're not careful. Too much enjoyment and lavishing and then can have them be deteriorated rather quickly. Sun in the 12th. Now, the 12th house does have similar things with Pisces, but 12th house is not the exact same. The 12th house is the unconscious, the behind your head. It is the unseen, it is the dreamland, it's Wuzuru land. It's also the house of the nasty happening. So easily, the sense of fulfillment actually comes from being isolated and at peace, away from the norms of the world. But also, if somebody does have a sun in the 12th house, and I mean I can vouch for this over and over again, you can actually see these individuals when they pass away, they are the most apparent in compared to any other placement. Because again, you have the soul, the sun, somebody's soul in the 12th, where there's complete limitless potential. You're taking the sun, now it's like right here. You're taking the soul, now it's up in here around us. And that's how sometimes where you can hear, see, or even interact or detect something that other people may not be able to detect. That's the sun in the 12th for that reason. And that's how it's much more like sometimes some people that give accounts, they're like, it just appeared and it just like came out of nowhere in the light. That's the sun of the 12th. Because when you have an experience like that, the sun is just like, hey! It just comes out of nowhere. That's the sun. There's light. Now you're drawn to it. Now for the planets, starting from moon all the way till the end of the black moon law. Sun and the moon, well, the king and the queen. I don't think I need to explain that one. Sun and Mercury, friendly. Sun and Venus, enemies. Sun and Mars, friendly. Because you have the king and then you have the general to the king. I think the general is going to be really happy to see his king. Sun and Jupiter guru, friendly. Because you have the king with his best advisor. Sun and Saturn, or Shani, bitter enemies. You have the king, then you have the king's son, or you have the once was king. Instant clash. One represents warmth and heat, one is cold, detached, and tells you to piss it. And you know, is strict, cruel, and doesn't care about your feelings and doesn't want to warm you up. He wants to just beat the stupidity out of you. Sun wants to burn you out of it, wants to purify you. Shani wants you to go, see this, you stupid idiot, fix it. It's harsh. Sun and Uranus. Enemy. That's the quirk, because Uranus does have a... Let me know when that thing in between your legs is done making that noise. I'll wait. No, hurry up. Get that thing in between your legs going. Hurry up. Sorry. I can't stand that. I just can't stand it when people obnoxiously make their motorcycle or cross rocker or whatever the heck those things are rev so loud that it sounds like, wow, nice raspberry mobile. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Anyway. Sun in Uranus. Enemy, because Uranus does have some minor rulership of Aquarius. But since Uranus is also the court gesture, the best way I put it, you're having the gesture being completely whimsical, unpredictable, that he even plays jokes on the king and messes with the king. The king doesn't want to be messed with. Sun and Neptune. Enemy. As you have the sun, the king, that wants to have dominion and rulership over his kingdom that's on this plane. Then you're bringing in the court sorceress, the woozy woo, the one that likes to pretty much lull you and just entrance and seduce you and put you in a deceptive, easy-going state. The sun doesn't want to be overly intoxicated that he can't rule his kingdom. So there's a clash there. Sun and the little shithead Pluto, the runt. Obviously, because you have the sun, the king, and then you have the little brat. I'm not saying that Pluto's overkill destructive, but Pluto is the smallest, the farthest out and the smallest, so he doesn't really understand how to interact with others. And when he does interact with others, he kind of gets their significance overkill. So the qualities with the Sun and Pluto conjunction, you can easily see somebody's sense of egotistical self and their sense of identity and their vanity get overkill and pretty much taken to the extreme. And also you can also see potentially somebody taking their sense of authority and overbowling it to a point where it actually makes them not handle things very well when somebody tells them no. Has that potential. Now the shadow planets, Rahu, Ketu, and Black Moon Lilith. Rahu, enemy. Well, because the sun can get possessed or eclipsed by Rahu. Same thing with Ketu. Ketu can eclipse or possess the sun. Sense of identity in the self, eclipsed. Black Moon Lilith and the sun. Enemy. Because Black Moon Lilith is Lilith herself. You're taking the king. Now you're having the king trying to order Lilith around. That's not going to work. And the king says, you, woman, do this. Oh, have you heard the story about Yahweh? Oh, you haven't. Here, let me tell you. No. And because since Black Moon Lilith is a very vengeful planet, one's sense of self, in order for them to get that fulfillment, they have to put their needs and empowerment first. They need to get themselves to their best first. If they don't better themselves, Lilith will not give them their sense of fulfillment or make them feel like they're living the life as they should. Because that's what Lilith does when she's with a planet that she is not friendly with, or if a planet's actually being any kind of risk to the moon, or if she's conjunct any other neutral planet too. But with Venus and Saturn, those are her friendly planets, she will not hold them, or pretty much hold them, metaphorically saying, hostage. But unless they're bringing any kind of harm to the moon, then she'll just say, no, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to hurt the moon. But in order for you to get your significance, you have to give me what I want first. So, for the Sun and Lilith, you can definitely see that the empowerment of the self gets spotlighted, meaning that the self has to be first. When that's given, then you can have your fulfillment. When you're empowered and when you're doing what you want, then you can feel fulfilled. But until then, no. She will not give it to you. You have to do what she is wanting you to do, which is putting your empowerment and making the choices for yourself first. And she's really unpredictable, but when you kind of get a general understanding of like how she's all about empowerment, the sense of self, rebelling against anything that tries to prevent you, it's also the ability to seduce and lose you to others. In order for, again, the fulfillment may come when you're doing Lilithian qualities of like alluring or captivating others to do what you want to get your desires met. Nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. So, I think that's pretty much, yeah, that's about an hour and 5 minutes of about the Sun. Does anybody have any questions at all? If there's any questions at all, let me know. I'll stay flowing for like another minute. Whoops. What are you doing? You don't need to do that. Alright. Why did I just have it? Get back out of here. Don't know what you are, but you can piss it and stick it. I know my word choice is so unique and just like, wow. Well then. Okay, well, I guess. Alright, well, since I don't have any questions, I guess we'll pick up tomorrow and we'll go about the moon. But now, the moon is going to be much more specific and a lot more in-depth than just the sun, because the sun is constant. The moon, though, has the cycles, and each phase of the moon behaves differently. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow for